These are my 4 favorite supplements that I believe everybody should be on. My husband and I take these, and I want to just go through briefly and tell you what's important about each of these that really affects your health. The first one is Omega Monopure. It's a purified fish oil, and it's gone through a special process that makes it absorbable, water soluble instead of fat soluble. So it's a lot easier on the stomach. It's also enteric coated, so it goes all the way through your stomach and releases in the small intestine, which is where fish oil is absorbed. And so you get the whole amount of fish oil being released where you can actually use it, which is great. Why is fish oil important? Omega-3 fatty acids, which fish oil is one of, are incredibly essential for brain health, heart health, and to decrease inflammation in the body. You can have a blood test done showing your omega-3 to omega-6 to omega-9, different omega levels. If your omega-3 and 6s aren't 1:1 to 1:4 ratio, meaning you have at least as much omega-3 as you do omega-6, you're more prone to inflammatory diseases. Average human in America at this point, their ratio is 1:25, which is really not helpful. Why is that? 2 reasons. We aren't eating as much fish as we used to. It's harder to get clean fish. A lot of fish is polluted, laden with pesticides, mercury, lead. And so, just people aren't eating as much fish. Also, people are eating many more inflammatory oils. So omega-6s are fine until you heat them. So that's like olive oil. But if you heat olive oil, it becomes not as helpful for your body. Eating it cold in a salad, eating it, poured on something after it's been cooked, great. Sauteing stuff with it, not helpful. So if you do a little bit of that, no problem. But most people are eating a lot of inflammatory oils. And so they're eating these things, even if could be somewhat healthy food, but the oils are creating more and more inflammation in their body. So there's 2 ways to bring your omega-3 levels up. One is to take more omega-3s. The other is stop eating oils that aren't good for you, that are going to inflame you. And so I recommend both of those things at the same time. Harvard Medical School did a really wonderful study, a 2-year study with 200 men. All of the men had already had some kind of cardiac issue. They'd either had a heart attack, a stroke, a transient ischemic attack, something. And all they did was give them 3 grams, 3,000 milligrams a day of fish oil. At the end of 2 years, there was a 95% decrease in all cardiac events. 95% decrease. That's mind-blowing. That you could take one thing and it would reduce your chance of having a heart attack or a stroke by 95%. Why isn't that front page news on every newspaper every day? I don't know. So the nice thing about this being more absorbable, 1 capsule is 3 grams. And so you're taking 1 capsule a day, you're getting what you need to make your heart and brain healthier, which is like a total bonus. You're also getting, so there's two components in fish oil, EPA and DHA. The DHA is better for brain and heart. The EPA is better for joints and decreasing inflammation throughout your body. So they're both in any fish oil you take usually, unless you just buy one kind or the other. Okay. So my second supplement here is K2D3 5000. And a lot of people have heard that vitamin D is important, that we get it from the sun, but that a lot of us, especially in Oregon here, are depleted in it. And vitamin D is so important. A lot of scientists consider it more like a hormone than a vitamin because it affects so many different systems. And vitamin D is a little bit hard to actually get into your tissues. If you take just plain vitamin D, once it's in your gut, it has to be converted from D to D3. Once your D3 gets past your stomach, it has to go down into your intestines. And vitamin K, which is only made in your intestines, has to join with the D3 or conjugate with it in order for the D to then be absorbed and used. Now, a lot of people I see in my practice, their guts aren't working well. So they may not even be making vitamin K, let alone being able to conjugate it. And so they're taking D thinking that they're going to be okay, but they're not. And I see so many people come in with vitamin D levels of like 7, 13, 15, really, really dangerously low. And so the K2D3 5000, already conjugated, instantly ready to absorb and use. And so I usually love for people to take that at least for a few months. Interestingly, when you get your blood work done, the lab will say 30 to 35 is normal. 30 to 35 is what will prevent you from getting rickets, bendy bone disease. It's not what is optimal for your body to function. So your vitamin D levels have to be at least 60 in order for you to have proper immune system function. If you're trying to prevent cognitive decline or have really clear mental function, you want your vitamin D to be between 80 and 100. Okay? You don't want to go over 100, but you want to be in that 80 to 100 range for optimal function. So a lot of people are surprised to hear that. They're at 30 and their doctor has said they're fine. They're not fine. They're not fine at all. You really, especially in this day and age, need to have proper immune function. To do that, you've got to get your D levels up to at least 60. Okay? So that's my second favorite. Probably my most favorite, honestly. I should have started with this. Optimag 125. This is magnesium glycinate along with magnesium malate and malic acid. These are the forms of magnesium that your brain and nervous system love the best. They're very calming to the nervous system and brain. They will reduce muscle spasm and all that, but more importantly, your actual neurons, the nerve cells in your brain and nervous system run on magnesium. And there's this whole system, where there's sodium is released, and then there's, that stimulates the nerve to go. Calcium plug can come in. The magnesium keeps the calcium plug from coming in. If these things aren't happening properly, you get too much excitability in a nerve, irritation, pain, or it doesn't work. And too much calcium in your system can actually kill nerves. And magnesium is like the teeter-totter that keeps the calcium from becoming too high. So it's extremely important. In 2007, there was a wonderful research project concluded. It was an 18-year study with over 4,000 men. And I think they were giving them 300 milligrams a day of magnesium glycinate. And what they found over that 18-year period is that the men who had the highest levels of magnesium in their blood had 40% fewer deaths from all causes. So mortality rate for all causes decreased by 40%. Heart attacks, cardiac issues, cardiovascular problems decreased by 40%. Cancer deaths decreased by 50%. Okay, why is that? Because magnesium is required for every single step of detoxification. There's pretty much in research a 100% correlation between toxins and cancer. If you've got toxins in your body, you're going to have issues. And so being able to support detoxification in your body and get stuff out of there that shouldn't be there, very important. So again, here's this remarkable substance that our body needs that just by taking this can decrease mortality rates by 40%, decrease heart issues by 40%, decrease cancer by 50%. Why isn't that front page news every day? I don't know. If they had a drug that did this, you would never stop hearing about it, right? So these are my 4 pillars. Okay, the last one is organics phytofood. So National Cancer Association says, American Cancer Association says, you should be having 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day to prevent cancer. Organic, preferably organic. If I ask you right now, how many of you are doing that every day? like, I don't get that every day. I try, but I don't always get that, right? So here's my insurance. 1 scoop of this in a smoothie and you're covered. You've got your vital servings there. This is all organic. It's got dehydrated fruits and vegetables. It's got enzymes. It's got a few probiotics. It's just great for you. And the reason this is so important is sugar, meat, alcohol, all the fun foods, they make our system more acidic. When your system is more acidic, it's less healthy. Your system naturally wants to be a little bit alkaline. And eating vegetables helps your system be more alkaline. Mm-hmm. And so just taking this every day will alkalinize your system and make you less susceptible to things like osteoporosis, osteopenia, cancers love acidic environments. There's just so many reasons. So it's a great way to hedge your bets and do something easy to take care of yourself. Noticed all of these products are from Xymogen, and I only work with a couple of companies. The reason for that is Xymogen does a lot of independent lab testing. They take their products, raw materials, and they do independent lab assays to make sure there's no pesticides, no heavy metals, no molds, that they haven't been irradiated, all these different things they check for. And then in the middle of production, just randomly, they do another test. And then once they have the finished product, they do another independent lab assay, not only to confirm that all those things that shouldn't be in there aren't in there, but also to say, oh, look, this says it's delivering 50 milligrams. It is actually delivering 50 milligrams, not 80, not 30. That's really important. As a physician, the reason I choose Xymogen is I need that purity. I'm working with some people who are very ill, and I can't afford to give them something that's got pesticides or heavy metals in it, which shockingly, a lot of supplements out on the market do have. And so, especially for really important things like this that you're taking every day, you want to make sure you're getting something very pure, very high quality. I also love their transparency. You can take any bottle, scan this little thing right here, this little symbol, and look up the assays that were done, which is really nice. I've had companies where I've called them and asked them to send me results of their independent lab assays, and they refuse, which should never happen. That's a guarantee that something hinky is going on. So I love the transparency and I love the quality. And over the years using this product, what I've seen is people will buy this in my office and then they'll go out and get something from Costco or Fred Meyer's or whatever, they'll try something else. And then they come back and they're like, I need the one you had. It worked so much better. So I love that because, I try everything that I carry in my pharmacy because I want to know, does it stick to my throat? Does it make me have some weird burp or, what? I want to know so I can warn people or tell people what to expect. And the Xymogen feels great in my body. It's easy to absorb and I get great results. So I often get asked, when should I take my vitamins? Should I take them with or without certain things? And so what I recommend is that the fish oil, you take that with breakfast. There's some research showing it's absorbed better in the AM. Interestingly, vitamin D has been shown to be absorbed better in the evening. And you always want to take D with food. A, D, E, and K are the 4 fat-soluble vitamins. And so they're going to be absorbed when they're with fat. So you always want to take your vitamin D with dinner. Magnesium, you want to take on its own, kind of away from everything else. And so I encourage people to keep this on their bedstand and then take it right before bed and maybe right when they wake up if I've prescribed that. The reason for that is that magnesium is the number 1 chelator in our body. So it's always looking for toxins or pesticides, whatever heavy metals to attach to and then move to the liver. And if you take it with other stuff, it's going to attach to things and not as much will be absorbed into your bloodstream. You want this absorbed into your bloodstream and so you want to take it on its own. And at night is great because it also helps you sleep. The phytoorganics can be taken anytime. I like to take it in a shake in the morning, and then I just take my other vitamins with it. So what happens if, all of a sudden you go from taking nothing, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to take 4 things a day or more? It takes a little bit of getting used to. I love using med packs. They're kind of a prepackaged but personalized, so I can order a med pack for you that has just exactly what you're supposed to take. And it makes it really easy because there's an AM packet, a PM packet, and a before bed packet. But if you don't have that, you can just buy a little vitamin carrier, and once a week put your vitamins in, and then every day take your vitamins. It also helps you track on, oh, have I had my vitamins today? And you can see very clearly if you haven't. If you forget to take your morning vitamins, you can just take them later in the day or wait until the next day. The only time you wouldn't want to take them later in the day is if there's adrenal or thyroid support. If you take too much of that at night, it can keep you awake. Also, if there's a very concentrated B, like a multi-B vitamin, you want to take that in the morning, not so much in the evening, because it can activate your system and keep you awake. But otherwise, you're pretty safe. Fish oils, whatever, you could take any time of the day. And it's more important that you get it into your body. Even if you don't absorb quite as much, you're still absorbing. So